wish you an enjoyable gathering. I'm speaking to you and welcome. My name is Brad Rillett. I'm the Vice President currently in the ACMP here in Australia and New Zealand. And unfortunately I can't be with you today. I wish you an enjoyable gathering. I'm speaking to you from the other side of the country on a recorded video in Sydney. So what I'd like to talk to you about this afternoon is the importance of an outward mindset. That may be a term that's familiar to some of you, but possibly not a lot of you. And so I want to do a very, very quick coverage in the next 10 minutes or so to stimulate the thinking in some of your conversations this afternoon, this evening. So let's get into it right now. The greatest asset in your team or your organisation, I would suggest, is not just the individual, not just the people. Even when people come together, it is the relationship or the space between people that has and holds the greatest potential value for you as leaders of transformation and of change. So let's explore this whole area of relationship and see what we can make of it. So human relationships are indeed the foundation for rapid and sustainable, viable change and transformation. A couple of questions I regularly ask enterprise leaders as we embark on these kinds of journeys together. Here are a few. What's your specific strategy for building and sustaining high-performing human relationships that consistently deliver change readiness and value and impact? What's your specific strategy for creating a culture for developing and maintaining an enduring culture of psychological safety, where it's safe for people to be at their best, as well as to be imperfect, as we all are? And finally, what's your specific strategy to develop a corporate culture that influences people every day with a desire and a capacity to learn, to help one another, and to be accountable for our impact with one another? It's interesting, these three questions rarely come up with significant and easy answers, and usually are quite challenging for most executive leaders. So, to give you some context before we get into the differences between an outward mindset and alternatives, let's have a quick look at how the ecosystem or the ecology of enterprises tends to operate. I want to present you a very simple view of your enterprise, your organisation currently has three significant and dominant operating systems, each with their rules for survival and their rules for success. And the one that drives the other two is the cultural operating system. It's how people show up every day and come together or move apart, how they move together in cooperation, collaboration to support one another, or move apart, push each other apart, so that they don't often compete, force and push and shove one another in order to meet their objectives at the expense many times of others' objectives and goals, and certainly the corporate objective and goal, a larger enterprise objective. So let's have a look at these three. The cultural operating system tends to enable the business and the digital operating system. So the business operating system contains all of your rules and your regulations, your policies, your commercial trading terms. It includes all of your protocols, cross-functional workflows, all your job descriptions, and so on and so forth. Whereas the digital operating system contains all of your technical comms, all of your intelligence that engages non-human, largely, facets of the organisation, information flows, those sorts of things, all of your knowledge repositories, all of your data analytics, all of your so forth around your understanding around the marketplace and so on. And these all operate within a larger contained ecosystem. Okay, very simply, as you can see there, greatest value, performance and impact emerges through the alignment and the integration. It's that sweet spot in the middle where the three of these operating systems are working together, not competing with one another, which is often the case. And the challenge, of course, is are you delivering in that effort simple survival or mediocrity in terms of performance and impact for the markets you operate in, the communities you serve, or something beyond that, and a level of excellence and superior transformative kind of successful impact for those that you serve. So the world of cybernetics, or the system of systems, which describes how that makes effectively the science of living systems, how they cohere, how they come together, how they break apart, how they operate. is very, very powerful. And it leads us into the social sciences, the behavioural sciences that describe a number of patterns of human behaviour that are reinforced and supported by a culture or a set of normalised routines and rituals and responses every day that actually damages the health of the organisation, reduces the vitality, the efficacy, the agency of the enterprise to pursue its goals and its mission and objectives for the future. And these viruses, these patterns are well understood, and they are increasingly obvious in a volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous world in which we live today. Of course, that phrase, VUCA, has been around for a good couple of decades plus now. And we are getting a little bit better, but we still struggle with this. So these are 5 of those cultural viruses. And the one in the middle, this one called inwardness, tends to amplify and affect the other 4. So let's have a quick look at inwardness, but let's look at it slightly differently. So there are 2 kinds of mindsets, and I want to acknowledge my good colleagues and partners at the Arbinger Institute. Globally, we've been doing this work since 1979, and I've been working very closely with the Arbinger Institute since the year 2000. So in the last 23 years, I've been absolutely amazed at the incredible impact this work has in organisations across the world, from simple to very, very complex. So let's have a look at this. A McKinsey study back in 2014, so 9 years ago, just 10 years ago, simply says that organisations that identify and address these pervasive mindsets at the outset of their transformation, at the outset, not during or after, but at the outset of the transformation journey, are 400% more likely to succeed, 4 times more likely to succeed than those that don't. So what do we mean by inward versus outward? Well, an inward mindset very simply is, I view people as objects. I don't view people as people. In these sorts of moments, I see, in my mind, other people don't matter like I matter. Somehow I matter more than they do. And the trouble with this is, I'm not interested in their needs, objectives, struggles or challenges. They don't really matter to me. And when that's the case, unfortunately I stay very fixed and focused on what matters to me, which are my needs, objectives, goals and challenges. And I treat people as if they are objects. I characterise them as vehicles that I can use to get what I want. A Toyota Hilux. They've got mobility, they've got load bearing capacity, they can carry people, they can move from A to B. I see people as an obstacle that I can blame for not getting what I want. I see people as irrelevant. I don't need you to get what I want. That kind of thinking is pervasive. And of course, it's quite mischievous as well. It's hard to see that we're actually inward. We're often blind to the reality of being inward simply by being inward. It's quite paradoxical. So then an outward mindset is quite different, where we see others as truly as they are. They're people who matter like I matter. And as a consequence, other people are interesting to me. I become curious about them. With an inward mindset, I don't care, I'm not interested. With an outward mindset, I'm actually quite curious about other people's needs, objectives, goals, challenges and struggles. And you know what? Part of my objectives then become to be helpful to them, to help them succeed, to help them fulfil their goals and objectives, and overcome their challenges and struggles. And I incorporate some of those needs in my own objectives, goals and challenges. So with an inward mindset, I tend to focus only on my results. And a lot of our organisations today are still this day structured in a way where my work is absolutely about getting my results. I'm accountable for my results. I'm not accountable directly for the impact I have on other people. That's a real problem, my friends, when it comes to transformation strategies and the expectation that we can deliver excellence, when truly all we're doing is, of course, repeating the mediocrity of the past. With an outward mindset, I not only focus on my results, I focus on all that we can achieve together. So it's our relationships that matter here. Everything is focused on those relationships, being helpful to one another, being accountable for my impact with one another. Some of our global research shows, and this has been going on for 2 or 3 decades, if you were to put a continuum or a scale together, individuals tend to rate their organisations on average around 4.5 in terms of being more inward. They rate themselves around 6.6 being more outward. Essentially, the challenge, of course, is that this is deceptive. It is a deceptive number or gap between how individuals rate themselves and rate their organisations. But nevertheless, there is a huge opportunity for improvement. So, what can we do about this? Well, building self-awareness is the first step, and we do a lot of work in that space. And of course, the second step is to change mindset. And we do a lot of that work as well by helping people engage in using some of the tools and techniques, the structures and the methods that we've developed over the last 20 or 30 years, which brings essentially an organisation from being structured and operating with an inward mindset to being structured and operating with an outward mindset. So with that, folks, that's a very, very quick tour in, 10 minutes or so, very quick tour through why it's important for us to move towards an outward mindset before we start moving through this managed change process, this methodology that I'm sure my colleagues are going to share with you a little bit anyway in the rest of today. I wish you every success, look forward to talking to you and look forward to meeting many of you in the not too distant future. So it's bye from me and have a good evening. Thank you.